YouTube, I gotta tell you, man, I had lost faith in this build. I had me and D-Dot had been talking about what are we gonna move on to next? What are we gonna piss people off with next? It's not the terminology he uses, terminology I used, but hey, let's be serious. I'd been looking at Corvettes. I'd been looking at CTSVs. I had been looking at GTRs. And understand that they are well within my price range, which that makes me very happy. But racing last week made me fall back in love with this car. I gotta say, I love the way this thing, I love the way I've modded this thing. I do. From the stance to obviously the boost, the power adders, to the reaction this thing gets. So today we're going to talk about what I plan on doing to it next. So let's start with the ground up. Right now, rear seat. I got a rear seat delete from a Demon on the way. Me and my buddy Eric are going to fabricate a custom X bar in the back with my logo on it. That'll be showcased at Wham 3. Wham. We are Mopar, for those of you who don't know what that is. Shout out to my boy Pedro Marullo and the whole DFWLX gang. But yeah, we're going to start doing that. We're going to see what kind of stuff we can strip out, what kind of weight we can just kill on this thing, because when I went and raced the Demon, we cut a shitload of weight out of it. I mean, we took all the carpet out. We took all the seats out except the driver's seat. Took everything out of the trunk. The car felt lighter, which it honestly threw me off that you could just feel the difference in the weight. Launched out of the hole like a monster. So future plans. I'm actually talking to a person right now about picking up their used HP 70 A8 because I am well beyond the limits of the current transmission in my vehicle. I'm talking to the drive shaft shop about a single piece drive shaft. And I can already hear V8 guys in the comments, "You're never going to need that. Your car won't make enough power." Yeah, my car makes more power than yours. So until then, shut up. But we also, we're playing with switching out half shafts. We're playing with and messing with gears right now. And me and my buddy Eric, the fabricator, are trying to locate a 3.6 with at least a wiring harness and a couple other things that we can actually tear down and experiment with. Some ports, some polishing, some different intake stuff, different valves, looking at a potential stroker kit. I mean, the missing link a lot of people aren't connecting with this motor is that you guys have been doing this for a hot minute now. And I've got my support system behind me between my guys from Team Brake and shit and RIP. I mean, I'm talking to Mishimoto right now. I'm talking to quite a few different companies. And I mean, it's up in the air, but there's about a 70% chance this thing's going to SEMA this year. That's a pipe dream, man, is to, hey, your car might be going to SEMA. Word. I mean, how can you beat that? Like, as a builder, anybody who's even thought about customizing a vehicle, that's the pipe dream, is to get it to go to SEMAs. And so far, it's looking like I might have that going. There's been talk of potentially doing a custom wide body on it. And it's not a wide body that you can buy from someone. It's, once again, my buddy Eric coming in clutch. The guy can lay fiberglass. We will see if it gets to a point of spinning. But potentially, what we want to see out of the vehicle, and this is news to everybody, RIP doesn't even know this yet, we would like to see 400 horsepower naturally aspirated out of the 3.6. To the wheels. Not to the crank. We don't give a damn about the crank. Well, we do, because it's going to break. And we're looking for a new one. But our plan is the 400 NA and then strap the blower back on. You strap the blower back on, I mean, what? This thing had 262 stock. Now it's well over 420, so 180 different horsepower. So that could potentially have me at 580, close to 600 to the wheels. at 3,900 pounds. I mean, take that how you want to, but I'm trying to build a tiny monster, and we ain't far from it, ladies and gentlemen. Had a couple questions pop up. People ask me, daily driving wise, now that I've done everything to the car that I'm working on, and like what my plans are in the future, how does this thing do as a daily driver? It does great. I mean, yeah, there's certain points where it gets a little jerky, and I'm not gonna lie, right now, the reason why we're looking for new transmission is because the transmission on this thing isn't rated for what we thought it was rated for. My buddy, Project 1971 TA, I was talking to him the other day, and he kind of opened my eyes to a detail that's a little bit scary. The A8 HP45 is rated for 450 NM. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know what the hell NM stands for. He did. He's in, I believe, the Air Force. I believe he's in Moody Air Force Base. And he's, dude's smart. Dude knows his stuff. He has another RIP build. But he told me that equates to 331 foot-pounds of torque, which means I'm close to 100 pounds over that, which would explain one of the major problems I'm having with the car right now. Everybody wants to know, what kind of issues do you find with the RIP? Okay, one of the small issues that I'm finding with it is the transmission overheats, and I'm not talking about a little bit. I've seen this transmission as high as 230. The car gets ultra sluggish. It'll get to a point where on the diagnostic screen, it will tell me that manual shift is temporarily unavailable, and like that, honestly, it makes me a little bit nervous. But the HP70 and the different transcooler valve from Paramount Transmission should fix that on that, so that wouldn't be a worry. And I mean 700, that should equate to a little over 500 foot-pounds of torque, so I should be fine once we get the HP70 in. We're hoping it's just a direct plug and play, but once again, this is something else people haven't done, so we're kind of playing with it right now, seeing what we can accomplish. So as a daily driver, yeah, there's a couple snags here and there, but once again, it's a new thing. A lot of people aren't doing it, and I mean, I don't know if you can tell by watching my past videos, but I beat the shit out of this thing. I have a great time doing it. Another question I got, fuel economy. If I'm on the highway and I'm not messing with it, I'm still above 30 mpg. Yeah, I mean, that's all I need to say about that. And then the last question that I caught was off of Instagram. And this was from a V8 guy who, not going to put people's names out there, I'm not that kind of guy, but he asked me why the hell, in his words, I put Mickey Thompsons and race stars on a V6, that I don't have enough power for those. Well, if you want to get technical about it, the only thing I changed between last year and this year's racing season was end links, wheels, tires for the rear, tuning, and we dropped a little weight. Okay, I was having issues last year with the stock 20s. I was on the Indy Firehawk 500 or Indy 500s from Firestone. I would spin the dog shit out of those out of the hole. Last week, racing this against the Demon and everybody else that I raced, I was having no spin at all. I was gripping out of the hole, boom, gone. 1/8, 1/9, 60 foots all day long, perfectly fine. I'm actually quite happy with that because the record I'm chasing, that gentleman only did a 1.8 60 foot. Very interesting. It means I'm very close to what I'm trying to accomplish. So yeah, that's why the Mickey Thompson is on here, is because they're race proven. It's what I needed. Am I spinning him out the gate? No. God, no. Until we get this whole rear gear thing set up correctly, I'm not even doing a real burnout on him. And I'm not going to be that guy at the track doing a single wheel burnout. I'm just not. So that's what's going on in this world, guys. Obviously, I'll keep you up to date on everything that's going on. But in the meantime, like, share, subscribe. Let me know what kind of meets locally in DFW you guys are going to be at. And if you want to see the car, let me know. I'm all about it. That's half the fun for this thing. Half the fun of this thing for me is the reactions it gets. So I'm all about showing it off. All right, guys. Have a great rest of the day. Have a great weekend. Stay savage, and I'll see you next week.